Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Irene and I'm a registered dietitian, and this week we are trying CookUnity, which is a chef-crafted meal delivery service. So me and Steven have each picked 8 different meals, which we thought looked yummy and delicious, and we are going to be trying them this week and rating them based on taste, ease of preparation, and nutrition value. So based on first impressions, when I first opened up the website, my eye immediately snagged on this top green banner at the top, and it said that they had dietitian backed meals. However, they spelled dietitian incorrectly. They spelled it with a C instead of a T, and that little thing kind of just irked me, and I wish I got a screenshot of it, but I totally did not even think about that in the moment. And then when I tried to get one that day, I realized that they had taken that out completely, and then a couple days later when I went back in to check on my order, I noticed that they had corrected it. So good on them for noticing that error and correcting it. It was really odd. I thought that the computer was almost listening to me, because as I said it, that's when it disappeared. So it was just a wacky coincidence. Dietitians are very well known to be very type A and very detail oriented, so small things like that sometimes can really bother us. But when I kind of got over that fact and actually looked at the meals, I was pleasantly surprised actually to see that there were a lot of different options, way more than I feel most meal delivery services have. And I actually think that the meal choices that you have depend on what area you live in, because one of the things that they mentioned on their website is that they're more local. So they have a couple of different prep kitchens, I want to say, certain locations throughout the country, and these chefs, I don't know if they're the ones that are physically making the meals or if they're just the ones creating them and then someone else is making them, but they say that they are made in small batches, so they're not batch made like some of the other maybe bigger companies, which I thought was really interesting. So I didn't actually plug in a different zip code to see if it would be a different menu, but I was very pleasantly surprised by all of the different filter options. Shout out, because there's a pescatarian one, and I feel I never really see a pescatarian filter. It's usually just vegan or vegetarian and then the different meats. So I actually really liked that option. Obviously they also did have a bunch of the trendy diets, and one in particular was GLP-1 balanced, which I kind of really hated, because I don't know what that means, to be honest. What is a GLP-1 balanced diet? Isn't that just a healthy diet? So that really made me cringe a lot, but it's trendy. A lot of people buy into that. I feel everything is just a marketing scam. One other thing that I was pleasantly surprised about was the actual delivery of the meals. So yesterday when it came in this nice bag, and it had ice packs in it, and I feel this is super cool because you can also reuse this for the future. So whenever you have deliveries in the future, you can leave this out for them to pick up, and then they can reuse these bags and the ice pack, which I thought was really awesome. Instead of throwing away all the ice packs and the cardboard boxes that go into all these deliveries, I have thrown away many of boxes. And I feel I also just hate getting rid of the boxes too, because everything is always just the ice packs are leaking and the cardboard is wet, and it's also just a whole thing to recycle it and everything. And so I actually really like the packaging of this, and I thought that was super neat and just a really nice way of being more eco-friendly, instead of doing the cardboard boxes and stuff. So in terms of preparation for these meals, they do come with 2 sets of instructions. Basically it's the same for all of them, but you can either microwave them or put them in the oven. Obviously when I'm at work, I'm going to be microwaving it, but when I'm at home and I have some more time to actually prepare these meals, I can totally throw this into the oven before I take a shower whenever I come home from work. So I will be definitely trying that. And I like that you can also just throw it in the oven in this container, because this is I guess a paper, recycled paper sort of thing. You just rip off the film and then you can put it in the oven. So no need to wash any dishes or anything with this. And so that is really nice and just makes preparation a whole lot easier. But I'm pretty excited to try these out and see how they taste. I feel with the number of options that I had, I actually feel, I guess, a little bit more excited about my meals than usual. Whenever there's only 30 or 40 options and maybe only 5 or 6 6 of them are vegetarian, pescatarian friendly. You kind of just like pick whatever is there, but this time I actually feel like I got to pick my meals. So that was very exciting for me, and I hope that they taste good. I think the shrimp to rice ratio is a little off. I guess it tastes good. Mm-hmm. So we have come to the end of the week with CookUnity, and I have to say that they kind of exceeded my expectations. So Steven and I felt that the taste was actually pretty good, and Steven especially really liked CookUnity, and he was like, this is like the best meal delivery service in terms of taste. I also feel like variety had a big part to do with it because there were just so many options. I think there were over 125 different meal options to choose from, and having that many meal options meant that like you could actually pick what you wanted instead of just picking from the couple of different meals that were there. I feel like for anyone that actually does meal delivery services on a weekly basis, that is huge, because some people like me get really tired of eating the same meals over and over, or having like the same flavor profile over and over. So having so many different cuisines and dishes was really awesome to have. I also do have to say that the portion sizes of these meals were much more normal. I feel like for a lot of the meal delivery services that we usually get, the portion sizes are so small and we end up snacking a lot afterwards because it just doesn't fill us up. But for these, I feel like they were closer to like a normal meal that we would like typically make at home. I feel like they were all a decent portion size and pretty satisfying for a meal. So we had a lot of different options to choose from this week, and I would say that my favorite meals that I got were this coconut shrimp soup and also these cheese enchiladas. I feel like I never get anything like this in a meal delivery service, so even having this option was really awesome and cool. I feel like there's never any Thai food in a lot of these meal delivery services, and this was surprisingly good. I feel like I'm not really like a Thai soup kind of gal usually, but this definitely helped me to explore different foods as well. These two I really enjoyed. Steven's favorites were this grilled flank steak bowl and also this chicken shawarma rice bowl, and he also followed the chef's pro tip here to have it cold instead, and he said that this one was really good. So these were his two favorites, but for the most part they all tasted pretty good and I didn't have any like huge complaints. These were also fairly easy to prepare as well. Each meal comes with 2 sets of instructions, so there are instructions to use the microwave as well as the oven, and we did both depending on where we were at the time that we wanted to consume the meals. So I feel like for the most part there wasn't really a difference between using the microwave or the oven, at least for the meals that I had picked. I feel like for some of Steven's, like for the chicken parmesan, I definitely would want to put that in the oven over the microwave, and I would probably recommend using the microwave instead of the oven for any of the dishes that have a side of rice, unless you are into like crispy dry rice. But other than that, there wasn't a huge difference, but it's really nice to have the flexibility of having either instructions instructions. And I also really like the fact that I could just put the container into the oven and not worry about setting the house on fire or destroying my meal. I feel like that just made things 100 times easier. And lastly, of course, the nutrition aspect. So it seemed like the nutrition value of all of the different meals were kind of a mixed bag. There were definitely some meals that were more balanced than others, but for the most part, all of the meals had at least 20 grams of protein, but that was kind of where the commonalities ended. The calories, fat, sodium, and fiber content of all the meals kind of varied a lot from meal to meal, and to my knowledge, CookUnity does not necessarily advertise themselves as being like a healthy meal delivery service aside from the GLP-1 balanced meals, although they do have that banner at the top that may be a little bit misleading, so I don't know that they're completely off the hook there. But the meals that were in the GLP-1 balanced diet did have less calories, about 600 or less saturated fat, less sodium, and more fiber, so I will give them that. And if you are looking for healthier meals, I would say that that is an option worth looking at, as much as I hate that label with a passion. But I probably would recommend pairing it with 1 or 2 healthy snacks throughout the day, because sub 600 calories per meal is not a lot for most people, and I feel like a lot of people might find themselves hungry after a couple hours. I feel like I would for sure. That may just be something that you need to plan ahead for. For meals that were outside of the GLP-1 balanced diet, it is definitely up to the consumer to determine the healthier options. For example, there were 2 vegetarian cheese enchilada options, but one had significantly more saturated fat and sodium compared to the other, despite being made by the same chef and being the same portion size in terms of weight. And in their full menu, there are a lot of different options that are pretty similar to others, so I do feel like it is worth looking at the different options and comparing the nutrition value of the ones that you are kind of interested in. But overall, I would say that I like CookUnity for the taste and the variety, and the meal preparation is also super simple and easy as well. And there were several healthy options as well as unhealthier options in their giant menu, so CookUnity would be an option that I would consider ordering from again in the future. Again, I don't feel like I can totally give it the dietitian stamp of approval, just because there were some meals on there that I feel like weren't the healthiest. But if it is a meal that you want to have, you can maybe pick it for 1 or 2 of your meals throughout the week and then pick healthier options for the rest of the week, kind of following the 80-20 principle. But that concludes my review for CookUnity. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!